Hey, it's Gav from Hiking for Health, and thanks for joining me on another adventure. Now, today's walk starts in South Wingfield on the outskirts of the Peak District, and in particular today I'm going to be looking at the ruins of Wingfield Manor, which is quite a sight from the road when you pass it. Now, I believe it's English heritage, however, it looks to be closed at the moment, but there is a public footpath that goes past it. So hopefully I'll get some good views and see what it's all about. Now, I'm at the church at South Wingfield, which suffered some catastrophic damage in the floods of this time last year, October, November. So I think it's closed, unfortunately. Okay, well, I'm going to have a look and get this walk started. It's about 5 miles altogether, but I think there'll be lots to see and do on the way. I think there's also potentially what's left of a Roman fort, so it might just be groundworks, earthworks, but it'll be worth checking out nevertheless. Okay, let's get started. There's a date of 1803 up there, but I'm not sure if that's when it was built. Whether or not it had some work done to it around that time. Yeah, it was all locked up, so I won't be seeing inside there, but it does mean I can get this walk started quicker. I'm excited about this one today. I'm really looking forward to seeing that ruin. So the path starts off by cutting through the graveyard of the church. You can see the grass has been well trodden here. So I'm already regretting my decision to wear my hiking trainers rather than my waterproof boots, as the grass is very wet. So I'm just here at the moment, leaving the church. I intend to make my way up to the railway line, then cut down here, potentially go into these woods, but there is a Roman Fortlet which looks quite interesting, and then eventually I want to cut across and see the remains of Wingfield Manor, which looks quite imposing from the road, quite a sight, so that'll be interesting, and then probably end up in Wingfield for a coffee. I do feature quite a lot of churches on my walks. I'm not particularly religious, but I do find them interesting places to visit due to their sort of historical value, and they're always such a calming place to visit and sit and chill with a coffee. I'll make my way up to this railway bridge and then cross over. So the weather today is supposed to be quite pleasant, and that's the way we like it. However, if it does change, it's always important to be prepared. Now, in the distance there, you can see the Crich Regimental Memorial for the Mercian Regiment. Mercia was one of the Anglo-Saxon 7 kingdoms, and the Mercian kingdom was in the Midlands, so I'm guessing that's where they got their name from. You can just see the top of the church there. I started to walk at, and it's lovely to see all this autumn colour starting to shine through. I was on a walk recently and it was a grey day all day. So welcome to Wingfield Station. It's one of the world's oldest surviving railway stations, built in 1840. for anybody who wants to visit. There are the opening times, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 10 till 4. And there is the North Midland Railway crest. Saved and preserved. And on we go. I do like stumbling across things and finding out about local history. Now that's where I'm heading. That's Wingfield Manor there in the distance. And there's a public footpath that runs right past it. It's owned by the English Heritage, but I don't think it's open at the moment. You can book guided tours. So what's your favourite season for hiking in? You've got the summertime, but it can be too hot. Lots of bugs about, midges. The autumn, beautiful autumn colours. And you've also got the nice cool breeze, but you've got lots of boggy trails and paths because of the rain. And the weather can be a little bit intermittent. The winter time. Now in the winter, we've got the majestic beauty of the snow, but it's not always like that. And it takes a long time for the spring to bloom, especially when you get to March and you're thinking, here it is, and really it doesn't start popping in colour until May time. And then you got the spring. I was talking to a friend of mine not so long back, and he was saying spring's his favourite. He loves the springtime. And that was Matt, by the way. He loves his springtime. And the spring is great, but if I had to pick apart a spring, it would be at the very end, just as it's turning to summer around those May months. But for me, autumn is the one. How can you not love walking in these colours? I took a wrong turn back there, but no worries. It was only a couple of minutes. The path was all overgrown. So I thought, this can't be right, but here we are. So the footpath will lead me to the Roman Fortlet, which is this way, I think, or you can just head down the lane. Now it might be that the path's quite boggy and muddy and the lane is only a short one, which is down here, so I think I'll follow that. And breathe. can see Wingfield Manor there in the distance, and how it sits on top of the hill, commanding the views of the local area. Now I'm heading to a Roman road known as, and forgive my pronunciation if it's wrong, Regimental Street, which was the only long distance Roman road crossing Derbyshire. It went from Lichfield through to Chesterfield. Only a part of it is still in use today, but the question is, why, if these roads were so well built, were they allowed to just go out of use? Now in a minute I'm heading up that path, and then it's a short climb to where the Roman fort would be, and then I'll head back over here, over the train line, and then across this beautiful countryside all the way to Wingfield Manor. Wondering where to stop and have my lunch. I'm not quite ready for a coffee yet, but it won't be long. There's a lot to see here. You can see Wingfield Manor, and also in the very distance you can see the beacon, the memorial that I mentioned earlier. A little bit of road walking now, but I need to take a public footpath on the right to get to the Roman fort. I don't always like taking roads, but sometimes it's necessary to get where you need to be. Ah, I've spotted it, there it is. Okay, there's the footpath, which takes me up here. It's a short walk, but the views at the top are really good. This could be interesting. So I've reached the site where the Roman fort used to be. You can see how the ground is slightly raised. So just here is where they would have held a commanding view of the surrounding area. And what a view it is. It was worth the climb. Well, I think it might just be time to have that cup of coffee I was talking about with this brilliant view. So that's lunch had. Now it's time to get back to it, back on the trail, and get to this ruin. Wingfield Manor. Now I don't know much history about it. I usually research things before I come out and explore, but I haven't done it this time, so it'll be interesting finding out about it as I'm exploring. But it certainly looks quite a place. I did read that at the moment it is unsafe for the English heritage to let people into the manor or the ruins, but I'm sure we can see quite a lot from the public footpath as it passes. So this lane leads me to the railway line, so I'll carry on down here, and then it crosses to the foot of a hill called Colburn Hill, which I think is that one just over there. I've always had an interest in time travel. I've always been quite fascinated with the idea. I remember seeing Back to the Future when I was a young lad. And another film that really stuck with me is Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Not the Monopoly Park lane, but here. If you haven't been to the Crich Tramway Museum, I recommend that. That's a great day out. And I think if you buy a ticket once, then it gives you the ability to go there all year. And the idea behind the whole situation at Crich Tramway Museum is that it's a way of preserving these trams whilst also educating the public about what they did and how they worked, and you get to ride on them too, unlimited throughout the day. What happens if I get to this Wingfield Manor and somehow I enter a portal and it's there it is in its heyday? I would be a trespasser. I can just make out the moon above the tree in the distance. It's very faint, but it's there. Some of the rain we've had recently. Now the hill over here is Colburn Hill. This is what I'm looking for. Public bridleway. Now does that mean down there or across the field? I'm assuming down here. So off we go. It's been a really pleasant day so far. Let's hope I don't jinx it. It's been quite warm in the sun, but in the shade and when the sun goes in, you can certainly tell how chilly it can get. I suppose that's autumn for you though. Now this path cuts in here and then makes its way across the fields. So when you get to this cottage, turn in here. Luckily there's a path to the side. Hopefully. Yeah, it goes all the way through. So I'm not wearing my walking boots today. If I was, I could go straight through that. No problem. Sometimes it's too easy to keep looking forward, and sometimes when you look behind you, you can see the nice views from where you've come from. This is a really good route. Paths are really well marked out. So the trees are still trying to keep hold of their green, aren't they? I always find it's November when the colour really starts to pop. Right, I'm not far off the manor now. In fact, I've just seen it. Now you might be able to make out parts of it. I didn't realise I was this close. I was trying to work out why the lane I've just approached on was so well cared for and wide for a track, and then it dawned on me that it's probably the road that led to the manor. Now this is a public right-of-way, which leads this way. Now before I have my rant, which was that I thought it had been blocked off, it's actually a rotating gate. That's where I had my lunch earlier. You can see a fireplace there where a room would have been, and there would have been a floor. You can see where the wooden joists would have gone. 3 of them, one underneath the fireplace and one either side. So there would have been a room there. That door on the right would have probably entered it. So that was Wingfield Manor. I wonder what it looked like in its prime. But it was a majestic building. I look forward to finding out some history about it. Here's the entrance from the road. And the manor's just up there. The lighthouse tower was built in 1923 to commemorate the 11,409 men of the Sherwood Foresters who gave their lives in the First World War. In 1952 it was further dedicated to the memory of the 1,520 men of the regiment who died in the Second World War. Now the hill may have been part of the beacon chain used to warn of the Spanish Armada in 1588. It's certainly a good position for it. It can be seen for miles around. There are amazing views from up here. So down here you've got the Crich Tramway Museum, which is a great day out. It's said that the lighthouse, or the beacon, can be seen from the counties of everybody who served in the regiment. So I thought I'd extend the walk by visiting the beacon. But there's a trig point here, and whenever you see a trig point, you've got to bag it. Right, I've got one more stop to make, and that is quite a picturesque row of trees that I've been meaning to visit for quite a time. And it's not far from here, so whilst the weather's nice, I'm going to go and check it out. So I've come to this wood on the way home. It's got like a fairy tale aspect to it. Lovely colours and an amazing array of trees. The only problem is the sun is over to the west and it's not able to penetrate this side of the wood. This is a great wood to explore. Now this part of the wood is so thick and dense, it's really dark. But I'm not heading this way. I'm going further down. Okay, here it is. And the sun is setting, so it's perfect conditions. Check this out. That is beautiful. Oh, there's a squirrel. So it's a photographer's paradise down here. It almost makes me want to get my DSLR back out, and I haven't used that in so long. It's an old one, Nikon D90. I got around about 2010. Still works great though. Right, I'm nearly back at the car now. I've really enjoyed my day, exploring and finding out about the local history of the area. But all good days have to come to an end, so I thought I'd finish it in some ancient woodland before I make the journey home. So I feel like I've covered so much today, but I'm looking forward to getting my feet up and having a nice coffee when I get home. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on another video. All the best.